let me ask you this question. Were you like a trying to fit in person? Or
The closest social circle that you have keeps expanding all the time, then according to me, there is something wrong. So this is a question I always had.
Yeah.
Who is the perfect person? The one who loves no one or the one who loves everyone? My family is in complete disarray. What do I do here? So similarly, I have, if you think about this person, I have no friends. All my friends have exploited the fact that I am nice. I don't talk to my family. I am doing weak in financial ways. I'm not physically well. What's the point?
So
Nice. So in the same way, right, in personality, something that I really noticed here, especially being in France and in Europe, is that आदमी का जो this question. Now there are three ways to deal with this question. One is that ये जो question आया हमारे मन में, there are three ways to deal with it. One is कि हम इस question को बैठ के इसको अच्छे से assess करें कि क्या ये question valid है, इस question का solution कैसे मिलेगा. Because I believe that every question has a solution somewhere. Maybe not logically, maybe somewhere in the world beyond.com, but somewhere. Second, ये question हमें आया, हमारा पहला रिएक्शन आया कि ये कैसे सही होगा, नहीं हो सकता, ये हमें इससे कुछ क्या मिल रहा है, हमें इससे क्या मिल रहा है, कुछ नहीं मिल रहा, तो वी टेक एन एक्शन कि कुछ नहीं मिल रहा तो लेट्स नॉट बी नाइस एनीमोर. एंड द थर्ड इज इग्नोर करते हैं कि ये क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा इट इज pushing me into my insecurities. It is pushing me into an area of my mind that I don't want to venture in because it is uncertain.
Oh, that is a lot of people.
So living in France, what I've realized is most people here have been living that life. Matlab, doing a job, one thing that I've seen is most people here, they do a 9 to 5 job. And when they come back, they don't know what to do. So all they are waiting is for the next morning. And because they don't know what to do tonight, they need to find a way to pass this time because they don't have a real question to answer. Because they've absolutely blocked that part of their mind which brings up questions that are actually important. So they watch Netflix or they sleep, they
And sleeping
or they
is
end up partying. Or they end up partying.
Yeah.
So now how is partying, how can you party every day? And the reason that they can party every day is because when you're intoxicated, you enter a zone of mind where you're not with yourself. And everything superfluous feels very happy. Everything you're basically celebrating your delusions when you're intoxicated. And that is a very good thing to do. It's like, when you finish work, you go into a candy land. A land where everything is for you, which basically does not exist. But at least there are no questions that are unanswered because you've created the world. You create your own rules.
But that's very harmful now because we have choices today which are overstimulating us in every aspect. Like अभी काम खत्म हुआ, तुमको कुछ, अरे आज के दुनिया में शुगर ऐसे ही मिलता है, पहले बहुत टफ होता था मिलना, बट आज ऐसे इंस्टेंट तुमको कोई भी कैंडी चाहिए मिल जाएगा. वैसा आज की दुनिया में कैफीन भी बहुत जल्दी मिलता है. सो वी हैव क्रिएटेड दिस overstimulating environment, and it's either companies doing it, big brands doing it, or it's just easy that कि हाँ ये choice तो है ही, मतलब तो वही ना, आजकल की बीमारियां सारी इसी की वजह से हैं.
Right? नहीं, if you हाँ, yeah, go ahead.
Abstinence भी नहीं यार, मतलब just कि you are aware of what choices you're making itself can solve a lot of things.
No, but when you need to be aware, then you have to be also accountable. But people don't want that. When you're saying that I'm aware of the choices I'm making, that means that there is a specific reason for the choices you're making. And when you so if you have a specific reason, that means that you've answered a question. But Most people don't want to do that because the choice is like, okay, I don't drink. People ask me, why don't I drink? Now it's a choice that I made. It's not religious. It used to be a family tradition, but now I'm living outside. So I have, this is a freedom of choice. So why don't I drink? Now again, this is a very personal thing, but why don't I drink? So basically, you or us, like all of us, most of us, have been given something not a lot of, no other species at least, and even like us who are living nicely, we, in my blog I talked about privilege, and we have been given something, especially the mind that we've been given, which not a lot of people have. So, and we always think about, we think about ki, what have I done to deserve this, why do I deserve this, and things like that. But now, and we realize that we can't answer those questions. So all we can do is do justice to it. Now, by spending time in which we don't have control over your mind, i.e., when you are intoxicated, is the
I.e., the
biggest
party.
is the
Yeah.
biggest injustice you can do.
No,
People,
like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
people say that, when people say that, what if you are in your senses, right? There are many days that I don't do anything, that I just sleep. But I need to ask myself this question: did I make that choice consciously? When I was sleeping, was I aware that I was sleeping? When I woke up, was I completely aware that I slept all day and it was a choice that I made? If yes, then I completely deserve that. I work all day, I work all night. Some days I deserve to have that. But if I just slept because I did not know what to do and I just did not have the energy to get up, and in the end of the day I feel bad for sleeping, then that is me wasting away the time. That is me
Or just
wasting away that
lazy.
day.
You
No,
are
that is
just,
me doing absolute injustice to the time and the mind that I was given, to the
yeah,
resources that I was given. So that is exactly what intoxication is. You spend your time not being in complete control of your mind. Is there
yeah,
a bigger injustice you can do to the time or the mind that you've been given?
yeah.
Did you
That's
deserve
the,
that? So instead of answering what did I do to deserve this, the question is what can I do to deserve this?
yeah,
And the answer to it is have complete control over what you do. And if you don't have complete control, develop that control. And if you cannot, then yes, you don't deserve this. You're right.
I think the only, like, control is also very obscure in the sense ki it's not about the consequences that you're controlling. It's about your effort that you can control, na?
Exactly.
It's
You can only
yeah,
control your efforts. You
yeah,
can
yeah.
never
So
control
just to
the
clarify that, yeah.
consequences. You can
Never,
never
never. And
control them.
you just have to accept the consequences. There is nothing that you can do about it. Nothing. Yeah.
This is
And if
the
there were any, like, Elon Musk says this, like, if there were any probability of just increasing the probability of like success, if there was anything that they could do to increase the probability of success, they had done it. And
yeah, of
at the
course.
end, when there was nothing, they just prayed. They're
Yeah.
like
So
that. Yeah, like this was during SpaceX, by the way, like, when SpaceX was really failing and stuff. Yeah. But now, yeah,
no, even in the Hindu mythology, the biggest the sacred our Bible, our sacred Bible, which is the Bhagavad Gita, is literally the main shlok is karmanyavadi karaste ma phalesu kadachana na karma phal heturbhurma te sangostva karmani, which basically means all you can do is karma.
yeah,
All a person can do is karma. And you do not have the results in your hand. So, as a human, yes, you're worried about them, but you can't do anything about them.
yeah,
You have to accept that fact. You can do, you can be, a very good example is Virat Kohli. He has been playing IPL for 15 years now. He's undoubtedly the best player in the world, but he still does not have an IPL trophy.
yeah,
He tries every year, he hasn't. Is he a failure? No, he's the best player in the world. The day you start the day you start relating your own personality or your own success or your definition of success to your to your results is the day you're always unsatisfied.
yeah, because there will be a bigger result or a bigger fish or a bigger, yeah, everything is going to be a bigger thing, right?
And some bigger you're not going to be able to achieve, and you're going to be
Yeah,
lack, you're going to be out of time. What then?
yeah,
You're going to be a failure in your own eyes. You're going to have 1,000 regrets when you die,
yeah.
and
That's
that
the
is the
worst.
worst you can do.
Yeah, that's the worst thing.
So
Yeah. Like again, I think this sprouts back to the idea that I was usually thinking about how the way you can divide your life is, or the way you can make choices is based on the idea that is it a tangible thing that I'm pursuing, or is it like an intangible state that I want to be in? I think pursuing non-tangible or intangible things is more pronounced, more internal to yourself, and also it helps you answer a lot of questions. So a very good example is being rich versus being wealthy. So rich is a very very futile state. You know, it's there's this like very good quote from the book Psychology of Money where Morgan Housel talks about how spending money is the easiest way to show that you're rich, but that's the easiest way to also lose money. So it's that thing. And also like wealthy, on the other hand, it's a state that you're in, right? Wealth
yeah,
for a lot of people, and I think it's the only reason why people are wealthy, it's because of the freedom that it guarantees, right?
yeah,
So and it's not like कि हाँ end हो गया है, उसके बाद कुछ नहीं है, क्योंकि रिजल्ट में ऐसी होता है, रिच हो, हाँ हो गया है, आगे क्या है? So, and then you start competing with your neighbors, you start competing, start trying to hoard all the brands, but there's no end. Like, you sort of define your end as a stepwise.
even
Still,
when
it's
you
not,
buy the whole earth, you would be wanting to buy the whole solar system, and there's no seller to it.
like, yeah. So instead you think in a continuum, or like think in like a, intangible way, right? Happiness is one more example. So happiness is, again, it's constant pursuit. It's never कि
Yeah,
अच्छा ये करूंगा तो मैं खुश हूँ. It's not
yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah,
It's about being in that. It's about being happy, right? It's not about getting happy. It's
yeah,
not that, right? It's
yeah,
being happy, right? So it's that you have to realize कि it's non, it's very very useful to pursue non-tangible stuff. So
yeah,
it's not like you have milestones to mark and stuff. It's maybe some people have it and some people might work towards it. But when you have these sort of goals in mind, right, which are like intangible, and they help you reach a particular state in life which continues to be like that, and hopefully it is positive because trajectory matters a lot. uh, you're really great. You're actually doing great, right? So
yeah,
that's also, it also is about work you're doing, right? Because there are like few choices that you make with respect to your work, and once you go all in, which I think everyone should, because that's when wonders are created. uh, you should just go all in, and you never look back, or you never say to yourself कि अच्छा ये करूंगा तो then I'll quit this choice and then do something else. It's not about that. You're not gonna do that anyways. So yeah,
but
like
I think one of the biggest issues with, I think what you're saying is completely right, but one of the bigger issues when trying to implement it, about trying to think about bigger goals and think about getting wealthy more than getting rich in the materialistic world, is people use it as an excuse that एक काम करते हैं, being rich is not worth it, right? हमें पैसा नहीं कमाना, so let's be a philosopher. And now in that process of becoming a philosopher, what they do is हम meditate करेंगे, and they just sit all day looking into the blank. I know people who can do that. I've seen people who can do that, who can sit doing nothing the whole day and tell themselves that they're philosophers. So this is a huge, I think, distinction that you need to make with yourself. That are you actually trying to pursue a bigger truth, or are you escaping from the fact that I want to escaping from action? Are you actually
अरे
trying to
so
pursue a bigger truth? So this is
yeah,
something that actually Shah Rukh Khan says, that first be rich, then be a philosopher.
yeah, like so the thing is, it's a very computer sciencey thing. uh A implies B does not mean B implies A. Something that
Yeah,
everyone should understand.
yeah. So just
A
because,
implies B, it does not equate to B implies A. But a lot of the world works in the fact, it bases its assumptions on the fact that if A implies B, then B also implies A. It's not that.
no, so that's why I think the fact
Yeah,
that you should become a philosopher, think about bigger things, right, is only after you're actually able to realize that there is nothing in the materialistic world, which is very tough unless you achieve everything in the materialistic world.
yeah,
Because this is exactly what Jim Carrey says, that I want everyone to have everything they want
yeah,
in the materialistic world so that they realize there is nothing in it. But
yeah.
unless you have everything, it's very hard to say that I haven't been to Japan. I want to go, but it's very hard to say there is nothing in it, because everyone has a
I
different
haven't
perception of
seen
life.
Japan, right? That's the thing,
Yeah,
nah?
that's what I'm saying. That everyone
Yeah,
has a different perception of life. I went to Prague. I absolutely loved Prague. It was one of my favorite cities. And another person who has a very overlapping interest as mine said that he absolutely hated Prague. And I'm like, how can you hate a city like Prague? And
yeah,
it got it got to a point where I forgot the fact that liking something is subjective. So
yeah,
yeah, so literally, how can I appreciate? How can I not appreciate a materialistical world unless I've seen all of it? And how do I see all of it? When I am able to be a part of all of it, and that only comes with money. So either you are extremely you're just a prodigy to be able to understand that there is actually nothing in it. Some people, yeah, there are so many people who actually came from the rags to be able to understand that there is nothing in the riches. But the society that we are in, at least the person I am and the people that I grow up with, I think it is very important to understand the difference between being an escapist and being a philosopher, or
yeah,
being a
yeah,
spiritualist.
yeah. So, so we just talked about, not escaping. So before that, you talked about how people. Wait, I'm blanking out. But yeah, so like you talked about how there's a difference between escapism and also like being a philosopher, right? I just said like if A implies B, then B doesn't, really imply A. So a very good example again is Gautam Buddha, right? Gautam Buddha was a prince. He had
Yeah,
everything he wanted in the world. Then he realized, oh wow, this is nothing,
it's
like
not
worth
working.
nothing,
This is not,
worth
yeah,
nothing.
exactly.
So, and then he like, I think Gautam Buddha, even like there's this very good Herman has his book called Siddhartha. So, in that it's basically a story about Gautam Buddha. It's so it's so evident that, he was able to properly realize that, there's nothing in the riches. And, everyone knows Gautam Buddha today. Like Gautam Buddha is the best out of
No,
uh,
it's a religion. Buddhism is a religion.
yeah, I mean, I'm saying like in terms of the, I think modern day philosophy itself was pretty well explained by Gautam Buddha himself, right? So like yeah, I mean again, first become rich and then become a philosopher is very very clever way to put it, and it works. It works, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
maybe yeah, like so, what do you think about this then? So not everyone is going to be a person, or not everyone is going to have everything that they need to experience before they delve into this state. So they might fall short, they might not really get the opportunities, or maybe they were blind when they got those opportunities,
see,
or maybe,
I don't
are
think
they
it's a
just fallen soldiers, or are they just, uh, are they just, yeah, they're just done. I mean, you're done with
okay.
life by then.
I think you need to pick a path. Either you want to go into the materialistic world, or you want to be a philosopher, or in a spiritual world. You can't go into the materialistic world hoping to be a philosopher someday, hoping to reach a place where they realize that there's nothing in it. Then
Yeah.
what's the point of being in it?
And
If
also
you,
you picked the wrong choice in the beginning, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So either, so see, base your choice in the current world. Have you realized what are you? Do you
Yeah.
think that there is anything in this? Do you think spirituality exists? If yes, then why would you go to the materialistic world? Because spirituality is based on the concept that there is nothing materialistically. And if you think there is nothing in this, there is nothing like spirituality, go into the
Or
materialistic world.
even if it's a maybe answer, right?
Yeah,
I think.
then just go into the materialistic world, give it your everything. When you give
Yeah.
it your everything, when you genuinely surrender to it, when you genuinely surrender to your everything, you're gonna see how superfluous your efforts are. You're gonna see how superfluous the return of your efforts are. You're gonna see that there is absolutely nothing in it. And that's what even we are doing. We are living in a maybe world, at least I am. So I'm trying to give everything to the materialistic world right now. And when I give it, the day I work the most is the day I feel the emptiest. Is because I realized that I just wasted so much effort and time doing nothing. Because I see that, do you do you know the name of your great grandfather or great great grandfather?
I know the name of my great grandmother. So because
Do
she
you know great great grandfather?
no, because
No,
I mean because great
exactly.
grandmother himself I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
Your own family forgets you. So what is the point of trying to achieve something? What is the point of trying to be a legend? There is nothing like that,
Yeah, yeah.
which
So
is
like
completely put perfectly in the Ozymandias poem. So then what do I do? How,
yeah.
what do I do?
No, no, like it's so very again like Naval Ravikant puts it up very cleverly, right? You're just a firefly. In the grand scheme of things, you just light up once and then you're in the dark. That's it. That's what human life is. So
Yeah,
you
but the
should
difference,
realize,
but the difference is right. The dark that you're talking about is also something that is on in our choice. That split second between when the light is about to go off and when you actually enter the darkness is a line that you draw, which, like, how do you transcend into it? Either, if you if you're into the materialistic world, then you're gonna transcend unsatisfied, because even if you've achieved everything in the materialistic world, you're gonna see there's nothing in it. And if you try spirituality, or if you try pushing yourself into something that matters, even if it is materialistic for you, you're gonna sooner or later realize that there is nothing in it. So that line that you create is completely created by you.
and even line, I think it's also the transition you said, right? Between the line and the, I mean, once you walk past that line and it's just darkness after that, right? There's this phase where I think वो बोलते हैं ना, so पूरा life याद आ जाता है. वही होता है.
Hmm.
So no one knows.
Huh.
And the thing is, we will only know it once. So
Yeah, but then we won't be able to tell anyone.
yeah, so
But no,
like
but if you think about it, right? मान लो मैंने सब कुछ कर लिया, सब कुछ मैंने मटेरियलिस्टिक वर्ल्ड में कमा लिया, तो मैं अपनी लाइफ देखी पीछे,
hmm,
तो मैं क्या दिखेगा? मैंने घर खड़ा किया, पॉइंट क्या है? मैंने गाड़ी खरीदी, पॉइंट क्या है? बट when you see that you affected someone in the positive manner, that helps. It makes you feel better. या फिर जब तुम सोचो कि as a person, I I transcended from being just a human body to a part of something much bigger, which is my soul. Basically, Hindu mythology में बोला जाता है हम ब्रह्मास्मि, कि मैं ही ब्रह्मांड हूँ. So when you realize that you are that whole universe, then there is no darkness
yeah,
because you don't die.
yeah, because you're
So
still there. Yeah,
so when you're
the
saying that you
universe
enter the
exists, right?
darkness, तो
Yeah,
जब तुम बोल रहे हो कि मैं darkness, you're a firefly and you enter the darkness, that is your human body.
yeah. Like so the thing is, in popular parlance, you just it goes black. That's it.
Yeah,
So when you die, everything goes black. That's it. So
because आंखें बंद हो
uh,
जाती हैं, you can say.
नहीं आंखें बंद होती हैं. And also there are I mean we can't talk to people who've already died कि क्या होता है बाद में. वो तो पता ही नहीं है हमको. तो like
Maybe
we
we
might as well
can.
do the best we can.
Maybe we
Maybe we
can.
can, we don't know. We don't know. Don't know. अब आज तो नहीं पता चल रहा ना, तो yeah, like there's a yeah, so yeah, it's like I think that's a very good point. Ki just choose a path, so do whatever you
Yeah.
can, but do it with everything you have,
And with
not like
conviction,
aadha
with conviction,
conviction.
with the fact that I have chosen this for a reason. इसीलिए नहीं कि
Yeah,
I am choosing this because I don't want to choose this. No, I am choosing this because
yeah.
I
No,
want to choose
also
this.
yeah, because I don't want to choose this. मतलब वो तो काफी गंदा एलिमिनेशन गेम हो गया क्योंकि एक और चॉइस आएगा फिर बाद में.
नहीं, और वो एस्केपिज्म
हाँ,
हो जाता है फिर कि मैं स्पिरिचुअलिटी चूज कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि मेरे को पता है मटेरियलिस्टिक दुनिया में कुछ नहीं है. यू हैव टू रियलाइज दैट.
तो गलत ही है.
यू हैव टू
वो तो गलत
रियलाइज
ही है.
दैट बाय योरसेल्फ, क्योंकि फिर तुम्हारा स्पिरिचुअलिटी में भी मन नहीं लगेगा, मटेरियलिस्टिक से तुम भाग के आ गए.
अरे बहुत सारे मॉडर्न मतलब मैं फिलोसोफर तो टाइटल तो दूंगा भी नहीं. बहुत लोग हैं जो सिर्फ ऐसे यू नो आई डोंट नो. एंड ऑल्सो लाइक फिलोसफी इज नॉट इवन थिंग्स दैट यू टॉक अबाउट एट लाइक व्हाट 20 or 25 years. कुछ दुनिया देखी ही नहीं है तुमने. कुछ कुछ एक्सपीरियंस ही नहीं हुआ है. फिलोसफी इज एक्सटेंडेड नॉलेज और वो बहुत टाइम के बाद ही क्लैरिटी मिलती है. If there is some amount of constant effort put in, and honestly even till then, right, you are still acquiring knowledge. It's not कि तुम वो apply भी कर रहे हो, right? So like yeah, that's very,
आई
yeah, that's a
थिंक
very good thing.
इवन इन द मटेरियलिस्टिक वर्ल्ड, राइट, थोड़ा सा भी अगर तुम्हें सेटिस्फेक्शन चाहिए मटेरियलिस्टिक वर्ल्ड में, तो तुम्हें एक बहुत जो इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है वो रियलाइज करनी पड़ेगी कि तुम अपनी जो सेटिस्फेक्शन है, जो सक्सेस है, तुम कैसे डिफाइन करते हो. तो
Yeah.
एक काफी अच्छी स्टोरी है. बेसिकली आई डोंट नो इफ यू नो दिस, बट एक पर्सन था. वो एक बैंड का पार्ट था. तो उस बैंड में उसको निकाल दिया. ही वॉज अ लीड गिटारिस्ट, एंड 2 दिन उनके पहले शो से 2 दिन पहले उसको निकाल दिया. तो ही वॉज ऑन द बस बैक एंड ही वॉज क्राइंग एंड ही वॉज फीलिंग सो बैड कि मेरे को निकाल दिया, व्हाट डू आई डू विद माई लाइफ एनी मोर. एंड ऑन द बस ही इज लाइक, नहीं भाई, आई एम गुड, I will create my own band and I'm going to do well by myself. And he ends up creating his own band. And he sells like hundreds and thousands of copies of his album, and he does very well. He's rich. But he ends up committing suicide because he feels he's not successful enough. Why? Because he always compared his success to the original band that he was a part of, which ended up becoming Beatles.
Mm.
So he always thought that I'm unsuccessful,
Yeah.
because his definition of success was always compared to them. On the other hand, this similar incident happened to this another person who ended up giving up music, lived a very middle class life, married a woman, set up a family, a very middle class life, and was amazingly happy and never looked back again at his past. Even though the band that he was kicked out of ended up becoming Metallica.
Yeah.
So this person was happy. Now, objectively, the person who committed suicide or the middle class person, who was more successful?
Objectively, in terms
before
of
before dying, like materialistically, who was more successful?
materialistically, the rich person was successful.
The band guy, right, who created
The
his own
bad.
band.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but
But in the real sense,
who
the
won?
person who just quit and never looked back was
Yeah,
successful.
who won at life?
Yeah. I think
So
this is very straightforward. No, there is no like disagreement on this.
yeah, exactly right. But what do we do? What do all of us do? There is
Yeah,
no disagreement for sure.
yeah.
But we are raised in a society of grades and GPA, and
Those are
everything that changes is from a percentage system, you come into a percentile system, to a grade system, to a salary system, to
yeah.
किसका घर ज्यादा बड़ा है system, to.
Yeah, all these are games, very
हाँ,
cleverly designed games.
so these are the games that we play the whole life, and we forget that we are just games ourselves.
We forget, or rather, we don't realize when to stop playing. And it is
Because
very, very important to realize. A very good story, right? So this guy, his name is Captain Raghuraman. Okay, so he's from Indian military, right? He's a part of the army. He has really brilliant talks online. बहुत अच्छे talks हैं. I would like really recommend to check him out. So he talks about Indian businesses, Indian unorganized businesses. उसमें बोलते हैं कि शायद Kolhapur is a city in Maharashtra, right? So very famous for like spicy food and stuff. स्पाइसी फूड मतलब खाने के मामले में मंदिर वगैरह भी बहुत फेमस है. तो वन ऑफ द यार अष्ट नहीं, I don't know the exact this thing, but it's a very famous like place.
या
So I think
कोल्हापुरी चाट वगैरह मिलती है ना.
कोल्हापुरी, जो भी कोल्हापुरी क्यूजीन होता है बहुत तीखा तीखा होता है,
हाँ.
because it's very spicy and they have these really good, it's very like, yeah, it's really good, like you should try it. So they have this really good spice. It's a very different kind of spicy as well. So he talks about how maybe they were like traveling somewhere on that road, and then it's like, some sort of a hilly place, and then they have it was raining or something, or it was some story, right, where they stop and then they ate some chapati sort of a thing, like bhakra या चपाती या इस टाइप का कुछ खाया था जो एक लेडी चला रही थी. ठीक है. और वो काफी मतलब छोटा सा सेटअप था, वेर देयर वाज प्लेस टू सिट एंड ऑल. यू कैन इमेजिन इट सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक अ वेरी, मे बी सॉर्ट ऑफ एन एक्सपेंसिव ठेला, राइट? सो वेरी गुड, लाइक वुड शेल्टर टाइप ऐसा कुछ. सो शी वाज सेलिंग इट, एंड उसके बाजू में एक छोटा सा चाय का दुकान था. चाय का दुकान कोई और चला रहा था, उसका नहीं था वो. And this lady, right, see, so what she did was like, she used to do like chapatis and stuff, but उसके अलावा कुछ बेचती भी नहीं थी. Let's assume चपाती वो कुछ और था, बट तो बेसिकली ये लोग खाए, बहुत अच्छा लगा इनको, बहुत टेस्टी लगा. तो उनको बोले कि क्यों ना आप चाय भी बना दो, इसके साथ बेचो, बहुत अच्छा बिकेगा. एंड इजीली जो भी लोग पासर बाइज हैं, लेकिन गाड़ी में जा रहे हैं, वो रोकेंगे, तो दे विल बी वेरी हैप्पी टू पे 100 रुपीज फॉर दिस, 100-150 रुपीज फॉर दिस. ऐसे बहुत अच्छा बनाती हैं आप. तो पता है वो लेडी ने क्या बोला? आई थिंक थोड़ी सी एल्डर भी थी. तो उन्होंने क्या बोला? उन्होंने बोला कि अगर मैं चाय बेचने लगूंगी तो वो क्या करेगा? वो चाय वाली दुकान की तरफ हाथ दिखा के. सो दिस इज अ लेसन ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग what is enough, like when is it enough in life. तो मैं भी चाय बनाने लगूंगी और मैं भी अपना ये लाइक भी बेचूंगी, हाँ मेरे को बहुत पैसा मिलेगा, बट वो क्या करेगा? शी रियलाइज द वैल्यू ऑफ इनफ वेरी वेल. तो you should always know when to stop playing these sort of games, right? Maybe hoarding हो गया यार, आप इकट्ठा करते रहो, आप कुछ भी करते रहो, like
टॉयलेट पेपर.
like it's you have to stop playing these games at once, and you should completely know कि हाँ, again, I'm done with the phase of this life, or maybe you can consider it a phase, or yeah, now next maybe look at bigger stuff, and finally, uh I think when you die, right, I think you should be free. You know if you're not free when you're dying, it's not a life well lived. Like, you should be free, and freedom, that's why freedom is one of the biggest values that any human should be having. And obviously there have been civilizations fighting for freedom, and it's so important. So, like, you should be
But you should
free.
know how to use your freedom. You should not wear your shirt front side back and back side front. That is, I don't think that is a correct use of freedom. But
Yeah, yeah.
on the
That's not the
closing
correct
note,
use of a t-shirt.
yeah, that's
That's
not even a correct use of t-shirt. Very right. But I think on the closing note, I just want to say कि मेरा one of the favorite shows है, उसका नाम है House MD. He's a doctor and उसका एक line है कि people, एक आदमी बोलता है कि मेरे को मरने दो, at least I'll die like I'm dying a glorious death. He's a war hero or something. And House says death is always ugly. Only a life can be beautiful. You wanted to die beautiful, you live beautiful.
Yeah,
You wanted to die gloriously, you live gloriously. You cannot die gloriously or you cannot die beautiful. Death
yeah,
is always ugly. It's the life before death and the life after death that can be beautiful. It's nothing, there is nothing in the middle. It's just a transition. And that transition can be beautiful or it can be horrible. And as soon as you inject regrets in that transition, when you're dying, if you have regrets, if you look back and you feel like I should have done something else,
oh no.
that transition can be the ugliest transition possible.
It is scary. Not even
It
ugly, it's
is
very scary. Yeah,
it is horrible and it is completely in our hands. And
yeah,
that, when I say it's completely in our hands, it is just about the choices we make, and it is just about the questions we answer and how we choose to answer them.
yeah. So when you witness forks in your in the road called life, just ensure that you go the right You just go the right way. Not even the right way. You just make a good choice. That's it. That's
Yeah,
all you
you
can
you
do at
make a
that point.
choice. You make a conscious choice about which road
Yeah.
I'm taking. उसके बाद रोड में आगे क्या है, you don't know. रोड,
हाँ.
कौन सी रोड पे जाना है, एक तो खड़े नहीं रहना है. अगर इफ वी कम अक्रॉस अ फोर्ट
खड़े रहोगे तो वो तो
ट्यूसडे,
वेस्टेज है.
खड़े रहोगे तो कभी ना कोई कैसे ना कैसे खत्म होना ही है
खड़े
मेरे
रहोगे
माइंड
ना,
पे.
आप धक्के खाओगे, धक्के खाकर या तो गिर
खाई में गिर
जाओगे,
जाओगे.
या खाई में गिर जाओगे, या बहुत ही गलत रोड पे चले जाओगे.
हाँ.
वो तो
और फिर आपको लगेगा कि मैंने ये रोड चूज नहीं की. हाँ, क्योंकि जब तुम्हें
हाँ.
चॉइस दी थी तो तुमने चूज नहीं किया.
वही.
तो या तो तुम, या तो नहीं, यू हैव टू मेक अ चॉइस एंड यू हैव टू मेक अ चॉइस आंसरिंग द क्वेश्चंस दैट यू आर सपोज्ड टू आंसर.
Yeah, like that's very true. Very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
that's it for today, and for our next session, it's going to be a bit chill. We're going to talk about our favorite topic, which is movies, music, and TV shows.
yeah, we're gonna,
Spoiler
yeah,
alert: we're quite rehearsed in this. I have given a lot of recommendations, a lot of talks to everyone about what they
we
should
are.
watch and what they should do. So
Again, these are opinionated, okay? So we are not saying something is great or something. Very opinionated, very self this thing. Obviously, in the next episode. But yeah, so yeah, like please stay tuned for that. So we're going to mostly do a weekly thing for this now. But I say, yeah, it was good today's podcast.